Giant hose roller. Well, the roof is left. The sink's still there. Fuck.
All this fire and it didn't burn up the black dot.
It's yep. There's the rest of it.
Yeah. You see, we're quick.
Look at this lucky duck. His awning's not even burnt. That's great. Whoa. Oh, that old barn didn't make it.
Yeah, it's a shame, eh?
Gas station's all good. Let's check out the fire. Oh, that place is gone. And the fire department. Way down yonder.
Seems like a nice enough guy. But we were talking about the looting and that. I go, well, he must have been a little overplayed. I go, I'm not saying nothing's happened, but.
Just out here in Scotch Creek, we're with Roger here. We're just kind of getting an update so the people know what's actually going on and how things have progressed and where we're at today. We had some heavy rainfall last night there, so it's looking a lot better. There are some houses that are down, but overall, you know, it looks like things are moving quickly to get the power back up. We've seen many power posts down, burnt, but they've got new ones up. So we'll just get some insight from Roger here.
Hi, how can I help you?
Just wondering, what did you notice during the escalation of these kind of events? I know they were telling people that they weren't allowed to move around town. So what did you experience with all of that?
Yeah, what I was photographing a very close neighbor's place, the total destruction of her place. I encountered police officers that were asking what I was up to and basically telling me that if I'm off my property, I can be arrested and taken away and I have to get home and whatnot. Fortunately, those guys were respectful enough to leave me alone and finish photographing all the stuff for my dear neighbor.
Do you feel like the RCMP that were here were more threatening and intimidating than they were providing aid?
I think it's the usual, the chain of command thing. You know, any one cop is doing what he's told to do. I think the overall impact was largely negative, obstructing people that know the community, that can know who the looters are, can deal with it themselves, or hand the information off to the authorities. But an empty town is open season for looters. You know, the able-bodied people that have the resources to live without power should be here taking care of their and their neighbors' interests and not be faced with arrest if you're off your property. Like, that was not helpful at all.
Right, it would have been more beneficial if they were making sure you guys had safe passage for water and food trucks, gasoline to keep the generators going. Because from what I've heard is there's been a lot of locals that have been here putting out the spot fires and actually, you know, doing the jobs that the authorities are claiming that they're doing. So I think they need more help.
Absolutely. But we're sort of a backcountry mountain community. The people here, by and large, are loggers, are very, very capable in these situations. And what we needed was support. We did not need outside command coming into a community they don't know anything about and telling us how to run the show. It should have been the other way around. Had we provided the leadership, I think we would have had a lot better outcome in the end.
Yeah, I know when I was involved in the 2004 fires, it was always asking local support, you know, to come help anybody who had qualifications that were able to assist in any way. You know, we had people delivering water and food. And so it really is a group effort, a community effort. So when the community comes together, there's a lot more success. You know, you wouldn't have the looters as bad either because the community knows who's within their community. And if somebody's not there that should be, they're aware of it.
And then we need the police, you know, the forces there to deal with it, you know, but in a support role. They don't know what's going on unless we tell them, and yet we're intimidated and no, you stay in your little hovel and, you know, don't. I'm hearing stories of friends of mine being harassed by the police for going 2 doors down to turn on a neighbor's generator so they don't lose all their food and whatnot. Like, that's not helpful. That's not useful. It's just nonsense. Somebody walking down the road is not a hazard to anyone.
Well, and it's also a violation of their own code book, right? So 4.2 states that part of their task is to provide aid, right? So when people are trying to provide aid, they should be assisting in that role.
Well said. That's what we signed up to, and that's what we would like to see enforced.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate this time, Roger, and you know, hopefully we can kind of get the real story of what's going on over here, and you know, just connect with some more of the community and make sure that they feel safe and secure.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Cheers.
Awesome.
There's an entire barbed wire fence that they'd have to get through, so that makes it more challenging. But,
well, that's why we're here.
that's why we're
we
here.
Want
we
to
want
see
to
them,
document what's going on.
Legally, Roger, they can't do that.
But I got to take care of my fights.
You know, I want to know what actually is going on and not just the assumptions, because that helps people get when they're scared, right?
Well, that's why the American guys are the Canadian forces that said this. You got videos of this, that.
Morning.
They stopped by my place this morning and I was just chatting with them. You know, they came in right away. They're like, we're not enforcing the law. They're running around. They were a task force from Vancouver that were, and then they spent all day. This was like obviously the first spot. All day, just constant, 6 of them, just constantly going back and forth and shutting everybody down from moving. And then I talked to my friends this morning up the lake in Celista, and they're doing that now today. They're stopping anybody from getting fuel, contractors, farmers, anything. They're stopping them all.
So that's odd because it's backing off here.
But then they're hitting it hard up there. It's like maybe they figured they got the message here and they're just carrying on to the next guys or whatever. I don't know, but I think this is a training.
They're pushing in, you mean?
They're looking, they're scouting at what the infrastructure is, because when you see, like, if you take a look at Google Maps and you look at this location and region, there's a couple hubs that would work very well for any kind of military setup, and there's key points, and we were talking about this the other day, because in the Tappan area, it's like, okay, well, this is a key point here for waterways and the highway, and then literally that morning, all of a sudden there's Corey. You want to come from this angle over here? Jason? Sorry, your name?
Liz. Liz.
All right, we're over here in Scotch Creek. I'm here with Corey, Sharon, Mike, and Liz, and we're just going to have a quick conversation, kind of hear what's been going on since these fires, and just kind of let people know, you know, so they can be prepared, not scared, and just know what's kind of going on here. And you know, if there's any supports that are needed. They've bunkered down. They've got quite the hub going on. I've been hearing they've been supporting the locals with food and water. So we're going to kind of get some inside information from them on what's actually gone down here over the last few days. Was there one of you that wanted to start specifically?
Okay, Corey.
Oh, we were just doing what we can when a fire rolled through, and for the first 2 days was pretty lenient. Everybody was just getting together as locals and running around doing what they can. There was everybody that had a truck and a water tote. They were just running around putting out spot fires, jumping on with the fire department or any construction crew or firefighting crew that they could to help, you know, put out the fires and save our community. And so after that 2 days of just running around doing that, then like enforcement came in and they started just telling us that we can't leave our properties and we have to stay contained within our property. We're not even allowed to deliver resources or go get resources or
So
do anything.
they were actually restricting your access from resources coming in and out?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. And what kind of resources was the hardest for you guys to get?
It was, if you didn't have a generator or water at your place, it was hard to get water at that point if you were trying to put out spot fires or anything. Like, we were just filling up buckets of water, like 5-gallon buckets and water jugs, and packing them out into the bush, and now we couldn't leave our house. And they'd warn you once, and they said, if we talk to you again, we're going to escort you off this side of the lake. So that was hard. And then we were asking about our generators for the people who do have water and their pumps hooked up. And we asked, well, can we go get gas so we can stay alive and keep our meat and our food frozen? And they were like, nope, if we see you down there, we're escorting you off this side of the lake. So those were the main ones for me that, you know, that my resources that I was bringing in. But these guys had way more resources with food and everything like that. So,
Well, and just so everybody knows, the code of conduct for the RCMP, part of their obligation is to provide aid, right? So the fact that the aid isn't being provided and actually restricted is concerning. But let's hear more of what's been going on. Liz, did you want to speak on the matter? Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go over to Mike and Sharon here.
So the very first incident we had, Liz and I were heading to go pick up some supplies at the marina, and I called the emergency response phone number and asked for potable water, and the lady hung up the phone. Like, I'm gonna get emotional again, but yeah, she hung up the phone on us, and you can't hear. Hung up the phone and just said that we are denied access to everything. Well, she didn't even say that. She actually just hung up the phone. So then that was the moment that we realized that we were not going to be. Oh, look who just arrived. That we were not going to be doing very well over here. So yeah, and then I was part of the Finns group trying to get the Cisco truck over. Then they denied that. We didn't even get to see that truck pull in, actually. That truck, we had boats lined up to bring in food and supplies, and yeah, we never got to see it. So we still don't know what's going on with that. They never got issued a permit. And yeah, so now we're struggling with, you know, we need gas right now. So now we have to find someone who can fill up our jerry cans.
So during this emergency, the locals didn't feel supported then?
Absolutely not. No.
Not by the local government, no.
Yeah.
And what kind of people have you guys seen in and out of here? I know there's been many rumors that have gone around, and we just want to clarify things because we know rumors can spread just as bad as wildfire. And we just want to make sure, you know, that people know what's actually going on, and we can then provide the support needed. I know a lot of people out here don't know, you know, their legal or lawful rights and freedoms, and we just want to make sure that everybody's working together, because when communities come together, that's when we actually are successful with these kind of emergencies.
100%. That's what we were trying to talk to the one guy. What still said we weren't allowed to leave our property anymore. Is like, let's work together. Give us your phone number. We know if you're actually out here to stop looters, we know where those people are, and we can send you there. But you're stopping us from leaving and stopping us getting the spot fires. And there was one right beside us yesterday still.
And so what's it been like with curfew? So they've told you not to leave your property. We haven't seen too many patrols now. I think a lot of that has to do with the heavy rain that we got, which is a blessing, thank God. And you know, if there's still a lot of enforcement in preventing you from leaving your homes, you know, we haven't seen a lot of threat at this point. It's more at the stage of cleanup. We've seen the power. The poles are going back in, lines are being put back up. There was many that were down and burnt. So it's good to see that they acted quickly. You know, power is always a must in these kind of situations so that everybody can get things squared away, get food back in the fridges and freezers, right?
Yeah. The fire and flood team, I think, has been the best out of everybody that's come to help us. They were here Friday night. We were setting up power water lines everywhere. Those guys have been all-stars. The structural protection unit, they've been all-stars with us. We helped work together, like radioed with us. Hey, we need to go here. We all worked together in a team on the Friday night, and it was amazing. And then now all these other groups come in, and it's...
Mostly COs.
Yeah, the COs are...
Mostly COs are in here, which you don't see COs ever, and now there's an abundance of them here. So it's kind of weird to see a huge presence of COs when, as a hunter in this area, you never see them. So it's just, I don't know, it just makes you wonder.
And for those not sure, that's the conservation officers, which do have a duty the same as a peace officer, right? Yeah. So the whole point is to uphold the peace and safety of the people and the locals. And part of that should be setting up, you know, the support for them to move any kind of food, water, fuels in and out. So instead of, you know, preventing the people from having access to this, they should actually be supporting them and opening the roads and even, you know, patrolling with them to make sure that the resources are getting to the people that need it the most. Was there anything else you wanted to comment on? Your guys'
honestly,
experience?
Our locals are phenomenal. We have got a really strong community, and I think, you know, after the COVID stuff that happened, this is only going to make us so much stronger, which I'm so proud. I'm so proud of our locals. I can't wait to, you know, hug them all when they all come back too. Even the ones that aren't here, you know, they wish they could be here.
They've got families,
you know,
to take care of and everything.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, all of them wish they could be here. And I know, I really don't believe that everyone's really worried about the looting per se. You know, there's probably a few people, but come on, would you rather lose that, like that piece of jewelry, or do you want to lose your whole home? You know, we are literally fighting for everyone's houses to stay here. And yeah, a lot of people and loved ones that we know lost their homes and lost everything in it. And it's really, really sad. So yeah, I mean, it's been really frustrating. I don't know what the future holds here, but hopefully we can get through this sooner than later.
And so what about the stealing of fire equipment? I've been hearing things that, you know, pumps are going missing, hoses are going missing.
You want to speak on that one?
What's your guys' take?
I'll tell you what.
Oh, and this is
I'm loud enough, you probably don't need one. I tell you what, like the bullshit about the stuff being stolen, this stuff is just being relocated and used. Like, I know for a fact that the old fire truck here, the fire hall burnt down. The only thing that saved the truck was everybody was using the fire truck. It's been passed to 3 different people using it. You know, this guy uses it for a while, the next guy takes it and uses it for a while, the next guy takes it uses it for a while. The last guy that have it, he's worried about getting thrown in jail.
So it's not so much the equipment going missing, but it seems to be there's a lack of people to actually be utilizing the equipment that's here.
The thing that I got a kick out of is they're all worried about the fire pumps and the hoses on the bridge that are being taken. Well, there's a problem with that in the first place. Because when the fire comes along, the first thing that it does is the powers to be all jump in their shit boxes and leave town. So it don't matter whether it's there or not, there ain't nobody gonna use the son of a bitch. Okay? So it's pretty simple. It ain't there. There's nobody there using it. So it's being relocated. People aren't stealing anything. I can tell you right now, if there was any looters out here, unfortunately, like they'd probably be beat to death. So that's not the problem.
And when you remove the community and the people from the community, well, then they don't know who's in here, right? So how are they to determine who the looters are and who isn't? But I know the community is very tight around here, and they take care of their own, as we can see here, right?
The problem being is it's fairly interesting. It looks like somebody's trying to create a problem to justify the being or what people are doing. So they're going to create a problem. They're going to come in and use it for an excuse to do what it is, instead of allowing the people to have a little bit of a say, saying, hey guys, let's band together and do this. The only explanation...
Communism.
The only explanation that I can give is just real simple. I ask, why are these fire trucks going back here? There's nothing dirty, nobody using anything. It comes down to insurance and... kind of forgot the word I want to use, but they're not insured for when they come off the asphalt. They're not insured. Liability. is all they're worried about. They have no liability. They're worried about being sued by the common person hurting themselves, a tree branch falling off, hitting somebody in the head. They're worried about liability is the reason they're not letting anybody do anything. But yet they won't let you sign anything to take the liability away. Exactly. So they figure that it's just going to all vanish into a sunset all by itself. But I tell you what, we're in a fairly interesting community here. Half of us get along, the other half of us hate each other. But I tell you what, everybody's getting along, everybody's banded together. And I'm just really curious how they're going to wash this all under the carpet and not pay for anything. That's what I'm curious of. I'm curious of what excuses they're going to use. Myself personally, I had a little bit of a confrontation already. Don't really want to talk about it a whole lot, but I had a problem. And it was fairly interesting. But again, as I say again, it's liability seems to be the biggest problem that everybody's having. And I tell you what, it's a tough scenario.
Well, I know you guys have a lot of support. There's over 100 people across the lake that are coming together to support you guys in this time of need. What can you tell them that would help support you guys and moving forward from today? What is it that you guys need the most so that we can make sure that that happens and you guys aren't restricted from that?
Like as far as right now or in the longer term future?
Right now and the weeks to come.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we will definitely need more supplies, so we're just going to have to figure out how we're going to get them here. You know, we did 200 bag lunches yesterday, and now today we only did, what did we do, 24, I think, because of it being restricted. So we are going to start to run out of fresh bread and things for sandwiches and that sort of stuff. But yeah, kind of basic necessities, you know.
We need access to move.
Well, we got people on the other side with tons of supplies. Their biggest concern was how to get them to you, so we're going to be working on that on the front end. We're going to be going up to the barricades there, and we have a convoy that will be heading in to bring you guys that supply. So we'll keep you posted on how that turns out and what they're going to do about it.
The only thing we need to make sure it doesn't happen, because what has been happening, we are so super grateful for the support of everybody that's been bringing us stuff, but it becomes everyone's doubling up on things, tripling up on things, so we end up getting too much. Everyone's bringing all the same things, right? So we got to need a better communication.
Good communication system of what we need with the certain people like Sharon. She can communicate with you guys what are bringing the stuff over, not just dropping it on a random docks, not overloading Captain's Village Marina. Don't just overload us with stuff, because it's awesome and appreciated, but we're taking care of, we're putting too much headaches on other people but aren't taking care of that part.
So we'll put together a list. We'll have a contact means so that you guys can actually specifically tell us what your needs are, and then we'll make sure that that's being put in the first trip over.
You know, I think one of the most important things there is to do, everything's calmed down a little bit, and it's both sides trying to work with each other and trying to come to an amicable solution to it, that one person isn't going, you do this, and it's becoming a gall-darn power struggle over something that it shouldn't be a power struggle. Everybody should be working together. And, you know,
who owns this place?
This is the power of forming agreement versus conflict, right? And that's where we need to get to, is to have a mutual comprehension of what the needs are and how we can achieve that.
You know, it just seems like everybody's in a power struggle to be who's right and who's wrong instead of going there and doing the job. They're worried about liability is the biggest thing. At the end of the day, everybody just needs to come to a common ground and try to get along. And it seems like the little bit, you know, I come over here today to talk to Sharon because I'm over here, I'm working for Twin Valley Contracting, doing some work with them and stuff, some maintenance and stuff on some of their trucks over here. And you know, the meeting that was had this morning, the new person that's out there is saying, hey, I'm glad that people are out here. I'm glad everybody's working together. Their attitude is starting to change a little bit. And if everybody's attitude changes a little bit and both sides soften up a little bit, hopefully maybe we can get along with each other. But it's getting to be, you know, instead of, I'm surprised, we're in a powder keg right here. But you know what I mean? Like, these people have been here, as I said before, some people have been here for 3 generations. They've been here since the 1800s, some of these guys. You know, and they've been here. This isn't the first go-around that this has happened, and they've dealt with it themselves. Yeah. And, again, the other problem is these people in power doing something have never really had this problem to deal with before. So nobody's dealt with the problem in the last 25 years. Everybody driving around looking at stuff, not dealing with anything. And when something happens, nobody knows what to do. But again, in saying that, it's been regrouping a little bit. The common knowledge of the people over at where the fire base is over there, I was just in the conversation I was privy to, that the guy is starting to actually willing to be starting to work with the people and come to the agreement that he needs everybody out here. And again, safety is their biggest thing to take and do. So there's a little bit of progress, and the softening of both sides hopefully happens to take and come together and actually get everything done instead of having more stress put on the conflict with everybody fighting with everybody instead of moving forward and actually doing something
Restriction
positive.
of being able to help, being able to get out and
Yeah.
do your help to, you know, to protect your community and do your part in the place that we live. Like, that's all we want to do. That's all the locals want to do. They just want to get out and be part, and they've done most of the work out here anyways. Like, we don't need the law here, you know, or if you are going to be here, go do the stuff that you're supposed to do. Like, the locals aren't doing anything bad. They're not making it worse. They're making it better. They're looking after this place. They're protecting their places. Like, we're doing it. We're getting it done, whether they're here or not, and we're going to keep doing it. Like, they're not going to stop us, and, you know, that's what they're trying to do. But, you know, I don't know. I seen everybody that I know and talk to, we're all banding together, and we're not going anywhere.
Again,
we're not.
Again, it comes down to a power struggle. Who's right and wrong, and you got people fighting over power. And the government's putting in stuff that probably some of it shouldn't be in there. There's understandable why some of it is there, some of it shouldn't be there. Again, nobody wants to make a decision because they're scared of liability. So let it all burn to the ground, and then they'll make some excuse of why it happened.
Do you guys feel that the police have been following the proper context of the laws?
Or, again,
Do you people feel that the police have been following the proper context of the law, their books?
keeping people in their homes when they're just trying to defend their houses, when there is no real major threat of a huge forest fire rolling around our neighborhood, by them restricting us to our property and not even be able to go get simple supplies to stay alive or to protect what you have. That's not following laws. That's not looking out for the people. That's not helping. Like, there's no help there.
Especially when you guys are the ones trying to provide the aid, right? You guys are obviously supporting many, right?
Our friend was like 6 houses down, trying to come down to get his wound taken care of. Our friend just 6 blocks down was trying to get here to get his to the first aid kit, and the cop RCMP was saying, "No, go home," and he just kept walking to get him here and get cleaned up and first aid.
He went home.
Oh, and then went home and then
he had to sneak over.
Sneak back to get first aid supplies from us.
Yeah.
It is.
So when our basic freedoms are being ignored and our basic rights to provide aid for our fellow men and women are restricted, there's a problem. And this is the information that we're trying to get out to people right from Scotch Creek. We're trying to ask people, you know, if you know any more, to please reach out and let's see how we can support these people rather than hinder their success. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say before we move along?
Honestly, I'm just really proud of our locals. I just can't say enough. I'm just so proud of our locals. Like, our community is gonna really benefit from this in the end.
Outside our community, the overwhelming of people all over Canada, like texting and phoning and sending out their regards and just offering to help any way that they can is just mind-blowing. You know, as a human race, like when a disaster hits, people come together, and it's a great thing. It's a really good thing.
Also, I did want to say, for those who want to help rebuild this town, like, I did put a financial link on one of my posts, so they can e-transfer, or there's a donation link as well if people want donation receipts. So there's going to be a lot of infrastructure to rebuild, so we're going to need help for sure.
Yes, lots of it. And does anybody want to comment on the backburn that happened prior to this raging fire?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on it. Yeah. I'd like to comment on the backburn. It burnt my mother's house down. It burnt the whole community. It burnt my mother's house down. It burnt all my stuff down on one yard. So that's the comment I have.
We'll call it backfire.
It's was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? In my opinion, it wasn't that good of a thing. It created more of a problem, but was it intended to be good? Probably. I don't know. But again, these backburns, if you look into the history of them, they've created all kinds of problems all over the place. Every backburn that they've done has usually done more damage than the gall darn fire has. But that's just looking into it, whether it's right or wrong.
Did you notice any wind during that backburn?
I knew it from the.
It was the windiest part of the day.
It was the windiest day of the year.
Windiest part of the day, and almost, what was it, at 3 o'clock they did it, so it's almost going into. No, they did it at the windiest part of the day.
Yeah.
You were asking a question about if anybody had a confrontation with these people. I think I'm the. You have to turn that off. I can't. I just shut it off for a minute. I'm the only one so far.
There you have it. So just to tell you guys that we weren't gonna call them mainstream media because they ain't. I'm gonna call them lamestream media. Said that this all burnt down, and that's lies. Well, right here you're getting the truth.
What do you want to be called? Because you're not a lawyer, but you know the law. So what's
Counsel.
counsel? Okay.
We know that something's up. They've been doing this and just escalating the problem. We know about UNDRIP. We know about the land grab. We know what's going on here, right? We're just protecting our rights here to live, to be sovereign, to be a man and a woman on your land, taking care of things, do no harm. We did nothing. We got a great community. There's seniors here. We're gardeners. They make us sound like we're a bunch of thugs and criminals. We're not thugs and criminals. And even this thing about equipment being missing, I think that's a distortion because somebody else, right? Your sister took a picture of the equipment relocated somewhere else. It was not damaged. There was nothing wrong. And the first headline that comes out on CBC is that, oh, there's a bunch of criminals and lowlifes out here destroying fire equipment and they can't do their job. They're impeding us and can't get the work done. That's the exact opposite. We've been helping each other as a community, loving one another, doing what we can to assist in every way that we can. I mean, we're out every night. My husband's out every 2 hours like clockwork looking for sparks of fire, it's embers, trying to help the fire department, who, by the way, their fire hall is down, was one of the first buildings down. So how can you trust in that system, right? We're doing what we can to help ourselves within the community. We've helped each other in every way that we can to get rid of these fires out of our area, and we're so grateful for the I guess it was a very good cutting edge equipment that came in here and provided a water curtain against the wall of this mountain over here that really saved our lives over here, and we're so grateful to that personnel that came out. They walked down the street, they said to us, you did everything right, you got your sprinklers on the roof, you have everything good, we just worry about your propane. So we shut off the propane and just make sure everything's secure. It's not like we're trying to create problems. We're just trying to do the right thing here. And we're not stupid. We're not going to put ourselves in harm's way. That's the last thing we want to do. We just want to help each other, and they're making us sound like we're impeding them. The only people on the traffic has been the fire trucks, the water trucks, people down there. We don't have anybody blocking traffic, hurting, impeding anybody. It's been just people doing the right thing, helping each other.
In fact, from what I'm hearing, it's quite the opposite, where the forces that are supposed to be helping you guys are actually impeding your ability to help each other, to move around, to bring in supplies, whether it's food, water, or fuels. So what else have you seen going on over the last few days? Because I know the stories that we're getting on mainstream media versus what's actually going on and the stories that we've spoken with the locals about are quite different, as you've already informed us. But what else have you seen that just seems kind of out of the ordinary?
Well, if we go back to the beginning, okay? This fire started in Adams Lake. There was a little fire at the top. We all saw it. No one was attacking it. When you have a fire, you got to get on it right now. You don't wait 3 days and think and assess what we're going to do. If you have a fire in your kitchen, you're going to catch it now and do what you can to put it out right now, not wait and decide chain of command who's going to help you do it. We knew they got to put that fire out. They didn't. They let it go. For 3 days, it went down the hill, and people in the Adams Lake area also did very good things to try to keep things safe, and they had their sprinklers on the roofs, and you can see from the pictures that are out there on social media that it went right down the mountain, right to their yard, right to their yard, and all the houses are okay, thank God, and all the people are okay over there. But they handled it well. But the people who are supposed to be in charge of forestry and management, wildfires, they really have dropped the ball on this. They should have been active. We didn't see all the planes and the water buckets. We've got plenty of lake and water here, 1,000 kilometers of shoreline here of water. There's no reason that we shouldn't have had more water bombers, D9s, whatever it takes to snuff these fires out. And there's people that have lived here decades, hundreds of years, generations of people who fought fires before all this fancy equipment, and they knew how to handle it. They just circle it, get around it, and snuff it out. You just take it or get around that fire and you snuff it out. But instead they let it burn, and we know everything's been so flammable, so dry, so flammable. Yet we're sending money overseas, international, all this. Why aren't we stocking up with equipment here? We should have plenty of equipment for every community, not having to borrow. Because they said over here, oh, you guys are okay, there's no problem, we're going to send our equipment to Osoyoos. And that was it. They left us and they let it burn. So the problem is, whoever is the chain of command here dropped the ball. They did not do what they should have done. They should have been more active, more responsive, more immediate, and right on top of this immediately. Don't let it simmer and grow. You have to handle it right away. Everything is so flammable. They keep telling us about climate crisis, global boiling. Well, what are they doing about it? All they're doing is talking about it, and now they're not equipping the communities with proper equipment to snuff this stuff out, to get it out. So the problem lies with the top right down. They needed to handle this in a more immediate fashion, a quicker response time to deal with this. Instead, they let it grow, and now we've got all these people that had to evacuate, leave their homes. Where are they going to go? We understand people from previous fires, they're waiting 2 years still to get something, to build a home for themselves. I mean, this is obvious a problem, and where is our leadership? Where is everybody? We pay these people to represent us. Why are they not representing us? You know, that's the big question.
And why are they blocking aid when the people are asking for it? And that's a huge concern. You know, it is even part of their own code of conduct that they are supposed to assist in providing aid to the yes. people. So when we start seeing things like foods coming in and they're being denied or blocked, they should be setting up escorts. They should be setting up ways to make sure that the people are taken care of instead of creating this fear, because they're only adding to the concerns of what's actually going on here. Because when people are afraid or they don't know what's going on, well, then they tend to make things up, and we don't want that either. And that's why we're here now, because we want to actually see from the locals and what's happening here and other areas around here, because there hasn't been a lot of, lightning or anything like that. So do you know what actually started the fire initially?
Well, that's a good question. I really feel that there's a lot of deliberate things going on here, that it is not a natural cause thing. That, yes, you can have lightning strikes, but I think there's something else missing in the equation here. And I think a lot of it is deliberate personally, because there's just too many questions here, that the way they handled it and everything, it's just, I just feel that there's something behind it, some form of agenda, what have you, a land grab. People are saying that. This whole UNDRIP thing is something to investigate. But there's some situation here that they're not dealing with directly. It's hidden. And we're not getting the right leadership. I feel like our leadership has dropped. They're just worried about themselves. There's a lot of money grabbing and greed, and they're not worried about the people. They're just worried about themselves.
And I've never seen fires to be strategic, but I'll tell you one thing. You start looking at where these fires and the placements are, new fires that start, it seems pretty strategic in my eyes, but that's my own personal opinion, and that's why we want to get to the bottom of this.
There's technology out there like DEW weaponry and that. I mean, there's patents. You can just follow the data. It's out there. It's not like we're conspiracy theorists.
We saw the chemtrails.
Yeah, and the chemtrails, I mean, we see them every night. Every night, just crisscrossing tic-tac-toe all over the skies here. I mean, it's so obvious to us that there's something more. They're making this area so flammable. They've done this for years now, making it so flammable. And you know they can cloud seed. Why didn't they cloud seed and put out get the rain going here? That's what they should be doing, making it rain, right?
Yeah,
you know,
they know how to make it rain. Why didn't they make it rain?
They could have made it rain, and they should have made it rain. And we're so grateful we have the greatest God, because they saved, our God saved this community. Our God saved, and whether people don't like to talk about God much these days, but God is at the center of this, and we have to bring our God back into our life, because that's what's most important, is nature. We love this place. This is sacred to us. Every tree, every plant here, it means something to us, every animal. And what we heard about animals burned, going down into homes, into Adam Lake's homes, because they were starving, looking for something. We're doing everything we can. We have a deer bin out here. We're trying to help what we can, because nature is what we're about. We're in the garden. We should be in the garden instead of in the city, and everybody's pushing you to go to a 15-minute city. Well, if you choose to do that, that's fine. Go to your 15-minute city. But there's a lot of us that like our gardens, and we want to be out in the garden. And the big garden, acreages, land, being in agriculture, with your livestock, with your chickens and hens and your beef, your cattle, everybody. That's what we're about. We're earthy people. And for us to have heard the reports from CBC is just demoralizing for us, because we are not that kind of people. We are good, down to the earth, good, rooted people that just want the best for everybody. We want everybody to be happy, free to travel, do what they want, and instead we're just being restricted. Permits, licenses, going down, talk to this person, get this person to get a license, a permit. Like, give me a break. We should just be free. We're sovereign, each of us.
And those who are familiar with licenses, it's just a permission to break the law, right? So you got to ask, well, what laws are being broken? And that was, interesting you brought up. God hasn't abandoned his people or this country, but this country has abandoned God. And I think it's time to bring that back and know, who we stand under and who the true sovereign is, and what authority we have under him.
Yeah, we can't, amen. And we can't trust, we can't trust these people. They're out for themselves. Where's Trudeau right now? Oh, he went on holidays? Holidays? Again? We're going through hell over here, and he doesn't care? I mean, this is the guy that we don't even know if that election was actually legit, actually. There's a lot of fraudulent going all around here.
Definitely a lot of communism.
Yeah, there's a lot of communism. You may as well take out that handbook, because they're going check, check, check down the list and doing the exact step they've done in every other country to take them down. And we need to realize that they're not going to do that to us. We're on to them, and we're going to do everything we can to bring out the truth and try to protect each other, protect every man and woman in this country. And that's the other thing, is there's a lot of this media that is really controlling people's thinking, and they're not seeing the truth for what it is. Mm-hmm. They need to step outside that box and do some critical thinking and logical, sensible thinking, and realize, is this normal? This isn't normal,
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? That's why we're here. We want to get the information out and the facts out. And the people, when they come together, are powerful. And all I've seen from the locals since we met is nothing malicious, but very benevolent and wanting to help support their communities. So good on you guys for making a stand, protecting your homes and your livelihoods and those around you. So we're going to help support those efforts. We're organizing people. We've got over 100 people across the lake that are trying to provide water sources, food sources, and fuel. And it's just a matter of getting it here, because as you guys have heard, there's been roadblocks and restrictions, and they're not even letting the locals in and out to provide food and sustenance for their families. So that has to change. We need to get these roadways opened up. If it's a concern of looters, then let's get escorts, but at least don't restrict the people from their basic needs.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many good people here, and there might be one odd duck or two that's bad. Other than that,
001.
But for them to block people from coming in and trying to assist each other, I mean, that's dreadful to me, that they won't let people help each other. We're not trying to cause problems or interfere in anything. We're just trying to help each other. as one human does to another. We're on this space to help each other and learn. And that's what we need to do, is just continue to do that. And we're going to defy all of that, because they have no control over me as a person. I want to help somebody. I'm going to help somebody. Don't tell me not to help somebody.
As a woman.
Yeah, and it's our duty, you know, for mankind. Yeah. And those of you, and the correction was because a person is the persona, right? It's part of their legal jargon. So yeah, we're men and women, and we're going to stand in that authority. Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
I'm not a citizen. I am a woman that's standing my ground. And yeah, we love this place, and we're going to continue to do whatever we can to get the truth out and to do everything that we can to save this place in the best way that we can. But we need help. We need garbage bins out here so that the bears aren't coming down here and breaking into places, and because they're starving. The animals are suffering too. We're all suffering. Birds, animals, we all got problems here. We all need to help each other. So
and as you can hear, it's beautiful out here. You can hear the birds chirping and everything. It's a beautiful spot. So let's do what we can to protect it. If anybody has anything that they can support and provide, that's what we're here for, and you guys have support on the way.
Now, Area F, Jay Simpson needs to pick it up here. We need some garbage bins over here in the homes that are, especially in the core of Scotch Creek, so we don't have a bear problem. They got to get this garbage and these things out of here that would really help us at the moment. We're not asking for a lot. We can handle most of it ourselves, but a few things would really help at this point. Water, food, and just getting help so we can get the garbage out of here, so we're not luring in animals who, you know, they're facing this too with us. Yeah. And they're making them out like, oh, you're getting attacked by a bear. No, they're coming down to eat. They just want to eat like the rest of us.
They've been pushed out of their habitats as well.
Out of their habitat too. So yeah, if they could just help us, let us do what we want to do and just get out of our way. They're in our way. We're not in their way. They're in our way.
Do you feel like a lot of the action around here was obstruction?
Yes. Yeah, I feel that the authorities have not done what they should do. They really should listen to the community. The community knows what's best too, and we should just have to be a democracy where we can speak together and talk about what's best for us, not somebody up here who isn't even living here telling us what to do. So that's my bit.
That was really good.
Don't do well with communists.
It ends here. Stand the line, Canada. We're not the only place that this is happening.
We're the first line of defense.
Can you verify the weather conditions on the day of the backburn?
Oh.
Are you familiar with what happened with the backburn?
That was scary, because they said, well, the wind might be going a certain direction at 6 o'clock tonight. And all of a sudden they did the backburn, and it was literal hell. The winds picked up everything, and we just seen everything just light up on the mountain, you know, where it did the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Pretty much looks deliberate.
It looks deliberate.
It looked like they created a monster.
They did create a monster. You can see it on NASA Fire what they did.
It was a worse situation than it
of a burn with that kind of wind coming.
They're nuts.
It's nuts.
They're nuts.
That day we got in a boat and we came across the lake to help people get out of there because it was that bad. So
I mean, yeah, we've almost had to be, like I've been mentioning to Josh here, Dukes of Hazzard, right? Where we had to go fly around in fast vehicles, fast boats to try and get things, amenities, things to people, get them across the lake, you know, help their pets, do whatever we can, you know? And that's how we had to be to avoid the sheriff and this person and that person. Yeah. You got to duck and dodge and do all this just to save one another. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty dirty on their part to stop people from trying to help one another.
Instead of having their support, they hindered your support and your guys.
We actually have to work around them.
Yeah.
Because they're in the way. Because they're in the way.
They were in the way instead, and they make it sound like we were in the way.
Oh, yeah.
There's multiple reports.
What a bunch of professionals.
But there's been multiple reports of guys with water trucks, with the cubes, all going to fight the fire and getting stopped by the cops.
Yeah. We ran into people that didn't know how to set up the pumps.
Yeah. And luckily, a couple of the fire department people.
Testimonies to come.
Really all the different platforms. Okay. Okay. Keep it up. Keep it up. Right on. Bye. There, that's good.